I can't breathe out of my nose. Oh, I forgot to put that on my thing yesterday. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Thursday. That feels like Friday. I'm forgetting something. Does anyone else write a list when you sit down of things that you know you need to get done? Because I'm doing that. All right, I think I got it all. It's Thursday. I am so excited that it's almost the end of the week because it's a long day weekend because of the Memorial Day holiday. So that means my family will be in and they'll get to do activities. But I feel when I appreciate the weekends because I don't have to worry about everyone, if that makes sense. Monday through Friday, I'm dropping off kids at all different hours of the school, picking up kids from practice, band, Rainbow Alliance clubs, things like that. So I have my phone is constantly ringing, alerting me to the next thing I got to do that day while I'm in the middle of like testing or fulfilling an order. But like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, there's not as many drop offs and pickups. So even though everyone's home and there's like a lot more noise than Loki playing soccer with his bone on the wood floor, it, I have I feel like relaxed where I don't have to feel like I have to hurry up and do something because I have to go do something for the kids, if that makes sense. Um, and I feel like I work longer on Fridays and Saturdays in my workroom too because it's uninterrupted. I'm free with my time from what I need to do. Sorry, there's like a glare from the light that's driving me nuts. Yeah, Kindle actually has me doing that. So Kindle does okay, so from the very beginning of our relationship, I was mentioning this to one of my friends, and they were like, "What do you mean Kindle does the grocery shopping and you don't?" So whenever we had our babies, whenever I started having the babies, um, you're feeding them, you're waking up with them. So Kendall would be like, "Give me the list, and I'll go grocery shopping." It just continued, even though none of my kids. Oh my god, my baby's gonna be graduating elementary school this month, and yeah, ever since I think since Hope, Kendall's always go grocery shopping. Like I go rarely. I usually go grocery shopping to pick up fun things for the kids, like snacks, like let's make an ice cream float or something like that. But I don't actually go grocery shopping. I do conduct the list though. But Kendall's the one that goes grocery shopping. I do Thanksgiving one because there's something about grocery stores in November during the holidays. It just makes me super excited. But yeah, I write the list for that. I do write a list in the morning, because I'll forget. Like yesterday, I had a lot of little things to mail out. I had an order to mail out. I have a friend that needed a strap, so I made her all black with rose gold strap, and I had to pack that up. I had someone lose their badge on my bag, and they wanted me to give them another one of my like name tags. So I shipped that out in a really cute card. I hope they like the card. So I had like a whole bunch of like little things. So I'm like checking them off. And I finished filming one video that will be coming out at the end of this month. And I'm testing the other bag. The person that's coming out with this bag pattern, it's going to be two patterns. So there's two separate videos for me. So I'm doing the second pattern today. I'm testing it. And if I can get it done fast, I will cut out everything, to film either today or first thing tomorrow after Captain's Log, and I'm really excited about that. And then I'm prepping next week. There's a whole bunch of cool stuff happening. There will have a different bag. A different bag is for Friday's tutorial, not this Friday, but next Friday's tutorial. I really like how this bag this it's like a little baby wallet, but the way it's put together is super cool. And I plan on doing a couple of different ways because the designer has two ways of making it. It's a fast bag to make. I feel like if I get it out next Friday, you still have enough time to give it to teachers, friends, your kids' friends, family friends. It's very it's very simple and something that we all can use and all can have in a bag or just carry on us. Um, I'm pretty excited about that. And I'm trying to double down because there's raw edges. And so I'm trying to see if I can do like a different way I paint. Because I'm always trying to improve the way I do it. I'm not like a master of one painting skill. So hopefully that can all be incorporated. Um, I actually got my first sponsor, and I'm going to do an honest review off of the thing I'm sponsoring, and you'll see that next week as well. So there's a lot of things happening within this week's time, and I'm excited and nervous. Nervous is not a bad thing for me. It I don't know. Everything that's ever been ever really good for me, I've always had I was nervous at one point with it. So I feel like it's not a negative, it's a positive thing. It's just you're waiting for other people's reactions. Yeah. And then the retreat is literally not this weekend, not next weekend, but the following. We're on our final countdowns for this retreat. And I am like, one, excited to go. Two, I love sewing in a whole entire group. And three, I get to be around people that love sewing bags and we're going to Tandy Leather shopping. I'm pretty excited. And they get to see how I do applique in person. And that I feel like that is something that I definitely want to do more. Have a class where I could teach how to do applique my way. I mean, there's so many different ways out there, but it's really hard for me to it's easier for me to do it in person and you see what I'm doing and then you can ask questions and then I can go for it. It's like a weird thing for me. It's like cooking. If I gave you my recipe to my cinnamon rolls, there's going to be something I forget. I promise you there's going to be something I forget. Versus if you were in the kitchen with me watching me make it, you can ask questions and you can see all the ingredients. That's the best way I can put it down. Like I have I have try and true recipes, like my chocolate cake recipe. Like, there has never been a person that hasn't liked it. But if you ask me for the recipe, I will forget an ingredient. And it's not on purpose or deliberate. It's just sometimes I just remember it. It's like muscle memory when I'm making it, and it's not necessarily written down. Um, that's how I treat applique. That's why Hope wants me to film how when I make a Scarlet Witch because people are going to say what pattern do you use and everything and versus me showing you how I pin muslin onto a mannequin form and like stuff it with my measurements, like seeing me measure my chest, my waist and my stomach and then making a dummy with a bodysuit that has my exact measurements and me making pattern pieces based off of a form. It's hard to explain how to do it. It's easier to see. Hey, good morning. I know, man, I really think it's Friday. I know it's not. Um, so today, uh, testing getting trash because tomorrow's trash day. And I have like boxes in here that I have not broken down for the recycling. Um, yeah, I'm really bad at breakdown. Usually I give it to one of the kids. I used to love it when they were little because I'll be like, jump all over the box, and so you could break it down and throw it. And now they're like, yeah, we know what you're doing, mom. But yesterday I got a package and it was from the Sewing Room Gardener, and that's where my little retreat is, and on the second. And she sent me because you know how I tell you guys that my vinyl, my TPU, and my vinyl clear vinyl game sucks. Look at this. I didn't know she had this as soon as as soon as I got this, I went into her fabric. She has like so many HP inspired clear vinyls. Like she even has the map. Look at this. Isn't this the cutest? I mean, I can make a bag out of it, but I do make a lot of Harry Potter wallets, and this could be in the clear pocket window. Little details. And it's like, as you can see, it's pliable. There is some stickiness, but not too sticky. I'm really excited about this. I didn't know she carried this. I had no idea. I know I've got binding from her. Good morning. I know I've got binding from her, but I didn't know she carried clear vinyl. So yeah, she even has, like I said, she has the map. And this is the cutest thing ever. I think it would be also, I'm thinking clear pockets for credit card slots, but I also thought like inside a baby bag, this could be really cute as if you make it into a pouch that connects inside of a baby's bag, and it could be like the wet, like if the baby, has an accident, this could be like the wet bag because it's, wipeable and cleanable. I thought that would be super cute too. Or just you can, if you buy this, that's like if you buy this and you have someone that's like, hey, can you make me a Slytherin? Maybe you could put, green waterproof canvas on the behind of this. If someone asks for Hufflepuff, yellow, Ravenclaw, blue, Gryffindor, red, because you could just put it on top and it could look a part of the fabric. I think that would be a cool idea too. But it's really pliable. It's really nice. I haven't really worked with a lot of clear vinyls, but I definitely want to make something with this. So I'm going to see what I can do this weekend. Something cute and clear. I've been wanting to make a clear persimmon for a long time with black jelly vinyl as the binding in the inside. So I might have to do that for this. And then she had sent me, I didn't know she has black zipper tape. This zipper tape is a little bit different than the one that I normally get. First and foremost, it came in the package with it, right? There's not one wrinkle or crinkle. So this is what my zipper tape looks like after I usually iron it or hit it with some starch. So I'm curious. I'm definitely going to work with it. And I like the fact that it's the same color as the clear vinyl. And then she has this. All right. So you already know. Iridescent's my favorite color for hardware. The hardware I use the most is antique, but my second favorite color is matte black. There's something about matte black that I just love. And she has like little pools. I love matte black. It is just gorgeous. And I'm a sucker for matte black. So this is a perfect set for a strap connect, like have an adjustable strap. And then I never have enough zipper pulls, matte black zipper pulls. Yes, I think matte black goes with so much. Yeah, actually, matter of fact, the bag that I filmed yesterday for a new pattern, I should have put matte black, 100%. After I was done with it, it looks good with the antique that I put on it, but after I was done with it, I was like, it would look $1 million more better if I would have done matte black, and I didn't. And I feel I didn't pick it because I didn't have matte black magnets. I had gunmetal, and I have this huge thing. If I'm going to go matte black, it's going to be all matte black. There will be no hint of gunmetal. And I ran out of matte black magnets. I forgot to put it on my list to purchase, so I couldn't do it. Oh, the vinyl is from Sewing Room Gardener, where the retreat is. She sells clear vinyl. She even sells the map from Harry Potter. There's a whole, I put the link in the description box. But yeah, I didn't know she sold clear vinyl, let alone HP. And then I really like this for the reason is that most people, when they order HP from me, I don't just get Ravenclaw. I don't just get, Hufflepuff or Gryffindor or Slytherin. They mix and match of the house. And I thought this would be really cute behind one of the house colors. And you easily just now conformed it for the house. I think this is super cute. I love the little Quidditch and the little brooms. So it could be a lot of different things, but now I'm also thinking I might make a persimmon out of this with some jelly, like as the piping, not the piping, but as the binding inside. That'll be super cute. And then she has matte black hardware. I had no idea, and now I know because I always try to get matte black hardware from people that are close. Because normally it's like a situation like yesterday where I need something and I normally go through like Emmeline Bags and she has amazing matte black hardware. But if I can get it within the United States and especially on the East Coast, you got me. You have a permanent customer because that means I'm gonna get it faster. It's just the way it is. Like I think she mailed this stuff out uh maybe on Tuesday and I got it on Monday and I got it yesterday on Wednesday. So the closer you are to me, the faster I'm going to get the postage. And I everyone doesn't carry matte black. So when I see it, I always buy it. If I'm shopping any kind of hardware and they have a matte black, I'm like, "Brr, let me stop right here. So let me see everything you got." And my favorite thing are matte black heart rivets. Some okay, I have this thing with this. Some rivets are not as matte as the other. There's someone, and I'm trying to remember who. When it comes back to me, it'll pop in my head. They have such a phenomenal matte black rivets that whenever I put them in bags, I feel like my bag belongs on the cover of GQ magazine. It's just like top notch. I'm really into rivets. So like anytime I see any color rivets, like New Moxie has so many different color rivets. I ordered from her earlier this week to get the glow in the dark hardware. So I think it's out for delivery today. So I'll show you tomorrow. I always order rivets whenever I order from her. She just has different color ones, just like the ones I put on Stitch. The Stitch bag I got from Sol Duce. She has more of the pastels, like the blues, the seafoam green, the pink, and the light purple. And I always order a hardware kit that has like um, sliders, D rings or whatnot. And then I always order extra rivets because I don't know, I really like them. I like different color rivets now. So yeah, I'm excited. There's so many different things happening. So this Friday, the zippy bag from Sally Tomatoes is going to be the bag that is going to have a tutorial. I finished editing it yesterday. I still just need to put the thumbnail. Over at Patreon, they do have it ahead of time. I have when you're part of my Patreon team, you get early access to videos if I can upload them. Like the electricity issue is really throwing me off, but it's going to get fixed. So I'm not too stressed about it. They have a plan and they know what they're doing. Good morning, Dalva. So yes, so the Patreon team already has that one, so that is in the works already. I'm going to be filming next Fridays. Actually, I think it's really hilarious because next Friday from I'm telling you from May 31st, I think from May 31st to June 1st, you're going to get like bombarded with new tutorials from me because there's a lot of patterns that are coming out and I'm actually really excited. There's not one pattern I'm like wonk wonk, like all of them are really good. These designers are like going on like a little like staycation away from their family and they're coming back swinging hard with these beautiful patterns. So yes, the zippy bag is going to be this Friday. It's not a long video. I believe it's not, I think it's like an hour and 5 minutes. And literally, I'm telling you, for me, it takes longer to cut out the pattern than to sew it. I timed myself afterwards because I cut out a second one. It took me about an hour and a half to cut out because I'm a person when someone gives me directions like for measurements, I will stay there like looking at the measurements on the ruler like for 5 minutes before I cut it. I don't know what's wrong with me. I know I could do that. There's a program you can use to enter in dimensions and you could print out pattern pieces that are the rectangles or the square. But I have most of the stuff I have are rulers. So a lot of pattern pieces are like 2.5 by 8 or whatever. And I have these in rulers. I just want to make sure everything is aligned before I cut it. So, I'm really excited about that one. I think everyone's gonna like it because at first when I first made it, I was like, "I don't know, this is a lot of zippers." I've been wearing one of the bags, and it is easy to put a lot of stuff. It's nothing but pockets, and it comes together like that. Yeah, it is. It's hard, but it's part of it. Like, I feel like with sewing, there's gonna be good and bad, and you can't just expect the good and not embrace the bad. That's part of it. Just like when I mess up on a pattern, that's part of the process of me becoming a better sewist. This is all part of it. Like a couple years ago, if you would have been like Shinova, do 5/8, 7/8, 3/4 or whatever on a ruler, I would have been like, okay, let me look at this. Now it comes more effortlessly because you keep doing it in practice. It's like tying your shoe. The better more you do it, the better you get at it. Everybody has like a hard point parts, but I kind of get it. I get why some pattern designers put the rectangles and try like rectangles and squares into the pattern pieces. And I understand why some pattern pieces don't, because most of the times the pattern pieces that you cut out are like 7 by 7 or 8 by 8. Um, and most likely you have a ruler that fits that size. And you're saving a tree by not printing. So it all depends on the person. There's no right or wrong answer. Everyone is different. For me, it does take me a long time to cut out, but I'd rather have that time to cut it out and get to work, and I can give you honest feedback. For me, you may be able to cut it in like 2 seconds, like bam, 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 bam. But for me, it took a lot of time because I don't know. It just takes a long time. I've learned a lot. Like I need to check things off, highlight things that I did it so I don't repeat it. I'm different. Like when I'm cutting out a bag, I'll give you an example. If I cut out an NCW, a necessarily clutch wallet from Emmeline bags, let's say the first piece I cut out is the flap. I will cut out all the interfacing for the flap and all the linings. I will go to my iron and fuse the interfacing, take a clip, put the pattern piece on it and go, and then do the next one. And I have to finish all the steps for that one. I can't cut out all the exterior and then cut out all the lining. I have to cut out the exact piece for the flap, the exact stabilizer, and the exact lining. And that's how my mind has to go. Everyone's mind works so different. That's why I keep saying there's no right or wrong answer. But I feel for one thinking cutting out your ruler is kind of like doing straight stitching. Practice takes progression, and it's just a skill that we have to learn. Because at the end of the day, if there was like a paper shortage, you're going to be relying on the tool that you're like kind of avoiding it. You can do it. Sometimes it's difficult. Like I understand with dyslexia, sometimes I see things completely differently than others, and I have to like relook and check and relook and check, and it sucks, but it's part of sewing. It's just a part of sewing. Like every mistake I don't take for granted. It's a part of what makes me better. Practice makes progression. Yeah, yeah, that's how I felt with, there was a bag I did, recently, Christine, that I cut out. No, even yesterday when I cut out the tester bag for a wallet, my head kept saying that the direction was a certain way and to put the bottom of the flap the opposite way. And for some odd reason, I fused it the same way as the directions. And I cut it out and I was super mad because I don't think the Riley Blake fabric that I used, they don't make that anymore. It's out of print. And I was mad, but again, I want to Hulk smash, but it's an accident. And all this is doing is like now making me double check my work on this wallet. So I have to I'm one of those people that has to see the bright side of things because it's so easy to see the dark. Um, it is. It's part cutting shut sucks. You hear so many people saying, "I wish I had a cutting fairy." It's a universal sewing problem. I don't actually think it's because it sucks. I think we want to just start sewing, which there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's we want to start sewing, and I don't know. I'm starting to take a little bit more time and joy in cutting, so that way I can fussy cut things to make them look exactly right. I'm taking a little bit more time enjoying fussy cutting, even interfacing. I want to make sure that I can sew something up right. Like the wallet I sewed yesterday, I sewed on my baby Juki. When I first made it, I did not take all the interfacing out of my seam allowances. And I kept saying, wow, this wallet is really thick on the sides. When I took everything out, I was using a 9014 needle and a skinny foot the whole time and never once had to use the hump jumper. And it was just something so simplistic that I always try to cut out and like not do because it wastes time. I just want to hurry up and sew. And it made sewing so much more fun because I actually did the right thing or what the pattern suggests you to do. Mm. Yeah, I could totally see why people love the circuit. I it's kind of it's a weird thing because when I used to tell people I used to block fuse, people were like, "You're wasting fabric." And sometimes when I'm cutting on my circuit, well, not circuit, my cameo or my brother, I feel like there's so much fabric that um gets left behind. And I'm a person that keeps scraps to make washers or put them back, have them for scrap tabs or whatever. There's a wallet I recently just made too that the the gusset is actually sorry, I'm losing my voice right now. The gusset is actually scrap pieces that I had from like a year ago that I just didn't want to get rid of it. It was a scrap piece that was like this big, but for me, I'm a person that no scrap gets left behind. So that's why I like do very minimal. Like I only will do my cameo if it's a piece that I know that if I try to cut, it's going to come out wonky. Um, Other than that, I don't. I'm gonna do it for the wallet that I'm making for next Friday's tutorial. I'm going to try their SVG just so that way I can honestly tell you how it worked out for me. Because that was one of their key features for this pattern. And for that reason I'll do it. But she also has it where you can do it cutting by hand. So I'm actually gauging on doing two wallets because in her pattern, the wallet comes with two different ways. So one I'm gonna do with the SVG way, and the other one I'm going to do by hand, and you will see. Yeah, I appreciate that. I think a lot of people do that. I appreciate when people get both because you don't know how somebody else is going to take it. I because Mrs. H does that. So she even had Mrs. H also has this thing where people like if they don't like pictures, if they grab the last 4 or 5 pages of the pattern, it's just the pattern with no pictures. So you can just read it. And what's really weird, she was one of the first people that did it. And that's how when I'm testing her bags, I actually read those pages because I want to be for me, I think testing a pattern, if I can't see the pictures, I'm a person that if I see a picture, I can try to emulate it really well. So for me, I want to test it to see what it's like for people that may not be able to see a picture and do it right away, or there's just I want to see if I really could test his bag, and that's what I usually do with her, and I appreciate that. And she also writes down the dimensions, and she also has the printed ones. Um, it all just depends, like, because like I one of the first bag makers I the one of the first bag makers I made bags from were Crafty Gemini and Sarah Lawson. And Sarah Lawson, So Sweetness, she writes down the dimensions if it's an odd shape. A rectangle or a square, and then you get printed pattern pieces if they're an odd shape. And I guess because they were my first bag pattern people that in my head I automatically go into cutting because right after her, that's how I found Noodlehead, and Noodlehead does the same thing where she gives you written instructions, and that's how my brain goes. I go into measuring and I do mess up. And I'm one of those people that you'll be like, dang it, Shinova, cut it already. You measured it like 8 times. So like I take my time with cutting now. I'm realizing that when I rush cutting, I wind up making mistakes in sewing off of not following the pattern pieces exactly. So I'm getting a little bit better at having patience with the thing that I like the least in sewing. So I'm trying. Yeah, I'm super slow with cutting. No one even that's why you don't see cutting videos of me. I am so slow with cutting. But I think that's a part of my process. Like I feel like cutting is a such a big and the most important part to sewing because if you're off by an eighth of an inch, you can make your whole bag look a little weird. Um, Finding out what materials work best for you, just different things. Actually, okay, so I used to hate 7/8 of an inch, but so many people use it, especially when it comes down to measuring things for zippers. So now that's why I like the Westcott rulers. One of the reasons why I'm always saying if I ever get a sponsor, it needs to be Westcott rulers. I'm not even gonna play with you because I use it in dressmaking before bag making. I use the Westcott ruler for everything, and I use it for quilting. Westcott has a quilting ruler, but because the boxes are like made 1/8 of an inch, I was always able to count. Oh, this is 3/8 of an inch. This is 5/8 of an inch. This is so on and so forth. So the Westcott ruler, when anybody says 7/8 of an inch, I'm like, good, I'm golden because my I don't have to put a lot of work into it because this ruler basically breaks everything down by the eighth of an inch. So it makes life easier. That's why the WTF rulers, while I actually like the thought process behind that because they had each fraction on every line. And that makes sense to me. It helps people because although we're taught how to look at a ruler as a child and to determine the size, not everybody remembers it. Like if you would ask like one of my kids, show me where the 5/8 of a ruler is line, and they'll probably look at you and be like, well, this is where the half is. No, because it's not something they use on an everyday life. So yeah, the Westcott ruler is key to me. If you struggle with measurements, look into Westcott rulers. They come in on all different sizes and shapes. That's the reason why I put it in my kit um for when I did So Magical for Texas because it is a ruler that is like my number one tool that is around me for everything, whether I'm cutting, ironing, or whatever. That's like my favorite ruler. I wish they would make a hot ruler like that. I have two hot rulers, but most of the hot rulers start with 1/4 of an inch, and then it goes straight into 5/8 and then 3/4 of an inch. But like it doesn't break it down a little bit. It doesn't work out like how I envisioned. I feel like a Westcott ruler for a hot ruler would be really cool. Yeah, some people I used to have a cutting day, so what I do now is, if I'm testing, I will cut out all the pattern pieces while I'm, like, upstairs in my room about to go to bed, and I'll read through the pattern first, and then when I read through the pattern, I go through my pattern, and very much like I tell you in my videos, I highlight all the measurement differences. So if someone's saying, "Okay, our seam allowance is 3/8 of an inch, but basting's 1/4 of an inch, and top stitching is 1/8," I take a highlighter for each color. If you ever look at the papers, the package that's in front of me, you'll see that there's doodles, writings, and whatever, because this is what I think would help you during the tutorial. Because I had a whatever takes me to pause where I'm like, wait, let me read this again. Wait, let me read it again one more time. I once I figure it out, then I write something so that way I can try to present it to you in a different way that might be able to assist you with making the bag or wallet. And then I highlight every time there is a seam allowance change. Because it happens a lot more than you think, because a lot of designers will be like, again, our seam allowance is 3/8 of an inch, unless otherwise noted. Basting is 1/4 of an inch, and top stitching is 1/8. But then when the lining comes, they'll be like, okay, start at 3/8 of an inch, go an inch down, and start varying off to 5/8 of an inch. You're like, wait, you did not mention that at the beginning of the pattern. So that's when I highlight it, and so that way I can tell something's about to change. When I'm looking at the paper, my brain's like, why is that highlighted? And then it makes me hyper focus on it, and then I can tell you we're going to be varying off and doing this, or we're going to. It just makes it makes my life a whole lot easier knowing when the seam allowance changes and when we something simple like that. But I don't I'm not a big fan of cutting, but it is part of the process. That's all I can say about that. I mean, it's kind of I don't know. I have a friend who he is in a band, right? And he's in a good name band. And Kendall has family members that are part of like mint condition and stuff like that. And they have to practice for hours on end. They have to practice when for like the most things that we don't even think about, like if there's like a slow song that everybody likes, like the drummer has to learn how to sway with the music while they're drumming and everything. And they have cameras on them to say, hey, you look like you're angry or upset or you're not into it. And they have to continue to practice, even though they know the song and they could play the song like the back of the hands. They have to practice facial expressions, swaying, soundtracks, and they're not their favorite things to do. They still have to do all these things to perform though. So that's the way I think we have our we in order for us to perform that final so we have to do some things that we don't like. Yeah. For a sewing fairy, everybody wants one. Yeah, I mean, it definitely that's it. It's personal preference. For me, I understand when designers don't do it, and when they do, I don't. I guess I just that's that designer. Like if you're going to get a So Sweetness pattern, So Sweetness has been around for what, almost 10 years now. She's had the same pattern style forever. If it's a rectangle or a square, you're going to have to cut it out. There's no pattern pieces. If you're doing noodle heads, same thing. There's a lot of designers that have been in the bag making world for over 10 years and they only have written patterns that have sizes that you cut out. And um, I guess for me, that's what I was introduced to when I first got into sewing, and I'm okay with either one. Would I prefer it? Sure. But most likely, to be honest with you, I probably won't print it out. Especially if I have a ruler. It has to be some kind of weird size, oh, I had something that was like 8 3/4 of an inch by 10 1/4 of an inch. I'm like, son of a okay. It has to be something where it's going to mess with my head. But I still, because I know the way my mind works with like being dyslexic and trying to like make sure that the numbers are really the correct ways, width and height, I do it because I have to test myself. I have to keep pushing past what I feel comfortable to achieve the next level. Man, I'm telling you though, some of these numbers, I will sit there and just look. And you'll be like, Shanova, just cut it. I'll be like, I can't. Yeah, I put cliff notes on everything. Like, if you were to come into my workroom right now and look at any patterns, you would see there's notes all over like any test pattern. Okay, so like when you're done testing a pattern, the designer's usually like, oh, you can throw away your tester pattern. Here's the finished pattern because this is now the compilation of what all the testers are saying that they recommend. I have never done that. I always keep the tester pattern because it has my original notes. I do wind up keeping the new pattern, but the tester pattern has all my original notes and my notes are invaluable to me. And then also when there's usually like a feed in a tester group, like, please put your notes in this area where you think there's a mistake. So somebody will be like, oh, there's a grammar error on page 7. The measurement doesn't seem right. The lining is sticking out here. I write those notes on my pattern. Um, so that way when I'm working it out, I can just refer back to it. And notes help me. And if you look at any of my books, like I'm looking at my Vogue books, my bag making books, all my bag books have like post-its in it on pages that are very important to me and the reason why. Yes. 1/8 of an inch can make a huge difference. A huge difference. Like when you cut, like my biggest problem with patterns is the black line. So when Kindle cuts the pattern for me, so this is the line. Kindle will cut dead on in the center. I always go above, but when I first started pattern making, I will go below the line. Like, they're just like everyone's brain works so different. Yeah, a good grid. A good grid is good. And a good ruler is good. A good like I showed you the other day that I have a ruler that at this point it is nothing but no, all the lines to show like 3/8, 5/8, 1/4 of inch are gone. Like they're completely faded. And a good ruler with a really good grid can make the hugest difference. Man, Westcott rulers are the stuff. I don't even know. Like I tell everybody, no matter if you're in quilting, even shoemaking, whatever, this ruler will save you so much time and effort. Yep. Teresa, that's it too. Because before I got into bag making, I was really heavily in quilting, and that's probably it too. And the thing is the reason why I even show you guys like rulers, like I'm I'm telling you, quilting rulers save lives. This Olaf one is 1 1/4. It is exact width of zipper tape. So whenever something's like, oh, you're making zipper end caps, make it 1/7 1 3/4 of an inch long by 1 1/4 wide. All I have to be like is, yep, I got this. Like it's exact same size as this. So like I feel like I get rulers for things that I know are going to be in a pattern no matter what, like strap tabs. I have this. I have an 8x8 ruler. I have a 7x7 ruler because and a 9x9 because these are normally the pockets for the zipper pocket size. Like if you have like if you know there's certain things that are repetitive, like if you get a 10x10 ruler, you know for a fact that most pockets are 8x8, 9x9, 10x10, or 7x7. So like that one ruler can help you out tremendously with just pockets. Or like I said, this ruler is so beat up. Look at how like it has so much glue on it. so much, so much. But this is one of my favorite rulers. I thought I lost this the other day. I almost lost my mind. I was like, dude, no, I hate measuring out tabs for zippers. I loathe it, and I actually hate when people make them long. And the reason why I hate it is because again, I don't like it's very rare for me to throw away a scrap. So you're just now I'm making little itty bitty baby scraps. Yeah. Yeah, so, like, that's what I'm saying, that I always that's why I literally when someone's brand new to bag making and they ask me what bag designer, I always say So Sweetness, I always say Crafty Gemini, and, like, Patterns with Mrs. H or go to Swoon because Swoon's the same way. Swoon doesn't give you the rectangle pieces. So, like, if you look at the original bag makers, they don't give you the pieces. It's the newer ones that do. And it's great that they do, but it's just something to think about. Like if you've been sewing bags for more than 3 years, then you have probably 50% of your patterns don't have rectangle or square pieces. You have measurements. It's just and it's something that we all suffer with. We all most people I don't hear anyone's like, "Yeah, I cut out those pockets. I cut out those puppets good." No, we're all like, "Damn, like, it's just it is what it is. It saves them time and effort, and you're still getting the pattern. You're getting the measurements that they created for the bag that they designed. Um, you're still getting the pattern, but yeah, just I think Swoon only gives rectangles for bottoms of the base for the Annette. Yeah, because it only unusual shapes, never pocket pieces, never zipper pieces, none of that. Yeah. Well, the cool thing about Circuit and like having a cutting machine, especially if you have a cutting machine that can cut more than one, like I seen someone have on their brother Cut, they had like a couple pocket pals on the 12 by 12. And I think they cut out 3 or 4 of those suckers. And I'm like, yeah, go ahead. You just saved time. So therefore it doesn't matter how much product you save. Like she was getting ready for a craft show and she cut them all out. And I'm like, that's actually really genius, like stick them all on there and just go. Do what you got to do. Like it there again, there is never a wrong or right reason. Just you do what's comfortable for you. If you feel like you like a designer and but you don't appreciate them not giving you the rectangles, pieces or square, tell them. They may not be aware that that is a issue for some, and they may be and say, "I'm sorry that this is how my writing style. I'm sorry it does not appease to you." Cool, like that's it is what it is. Or they may be like, "Why?" And not negative. Sometimes people just ask you questions because they legit don't know the answer. Like, why is that imperative to you? And you could be like, "Hey, I really am bad at measuring. I know a lot of other sewers that are like, hey, Shinova sucks at measuring. You can use me. I suck at measuring. Anyone that's been in a workroom with me, and pretty sure everyone that goes to North Carolina, you're gonna see me suck at measuring. It's just I'm bad at it, but I still do it. And I'm constantly trying to progress. I feel like I'm like way better at measuring than I was 5 years ago. so, um, just you go for it and tell them, and they may change their future pattern styles to enclose that, or you can do what Tara from Creations has been preaching. This one it's like an app for like years. When I first talked to Tara a few years ago, she mentioned this in Bag of the Month. So it was either 3 or 4 years ago when she was saying, if you have an issue with rectangles and squares, there is an app that all you have to do is type in the numbers of it and you could print out that pattern piece. It's really that simple. Therefore, you could buy the pattern that you want, type in this app, print out the pieces, and you're good to go. There's always a way. If there's a will, there's a way. It is so much easier. Once you get them done, do them right. It's kind of like basting. I always tell people when I'm sewing that I never based it when I first the first 2 years because I thought I know how to sew. I've been sewing all my life, dude. I wish I can go back and be like, hey, Shanova, listen to me. This is Future Nova. Based. When they tell you to base, based. Okay. It saves your life. There's like so many bags I made where I bound them after I did everything and didn't base, and like the exterior didn't get caught. And if I just would have basted it, it wouldn't have happened. So it's it's all a part of the process, but I needed to learn and have those frustrations with the messed up bags to really appreciate that step. That each step takes you to the final production of the bag that you've seen on that a photo of and that you wanted to recreate. Yeah, I'm still that like the fabric thing. I'm not going to lie to you. When so a designer's like, oh, you need 1/4 of a yard of vinyl and a yard of thing. I just want to be in a yard and a yard because I'm going to mess up on a piece. I already know I am. so, um, yeah, it's just a trial and error. Yeah, I do now. I go right above the line, but when I first started, I thought you were supposed to cut below because there was nothing in the instructions that were like, "Yeah, cut above or below or on the line." Now, when I'm tired, I'm like, "Kendall, I have this. Can you please cut out this pattern for me?" He cuts directly on the line, like in the middle, like perfectly. And I'm like, first, how did you do that? Because I can't even cut a straight line, but all right. Second, it like you could tell. So now it's a learning process. Like if you really look at some of the patterns, no one tells you to cut above or below or on the line. It's just something that you gradually learn over time. I have a lot of rulers too. I feel I have a really bad addiction to them. And now like Kendall got me a pegboard to go underneath my wall for thread, and I'm saving up for I want like an 18 by 18 square and a 20 by 20. I'll be so excited. You have no idea. But I want them to be pretty. So I'm hoping like Sally Tomatoes or Lauren Mormino comes out with one because I don't want it to be ugly. Don't get me wrong. I like the frosted Olaf. Like I have a lot of these because I like something about the frosted one is easier on my eyes to see, especially if you have like highlights coming down. They don't have a shine off or glossiness. But yeah, those rulers, when you get anything past 12 by 12, they get real expensive real quick. This ruler, this is Olaf QR 1 by 12. That's the model. Yeah, it's a Olaf model QR dash 1 times 12. But yeah, this is my favorite ruler. I got it at a quilt shop and I don't know what quilt I was working for it. But then somebody said, "Hey," and one of the patterns like it's 1.75 by 1.4, and I was like, "Oh shit, I sorry." I was like, "I got the 1.4 and it's the exact same size as the zippers." So it just makes my life so much easier to do it. It has so much glue on it. If you guys felt this, you'd be like, "Shino, I've wiped it down with alcohol. This glue's permanent. This is from like Gorilla Glue. I'm really bad at gluing. I glued my one of my pigtails yesterday to the bag. It took me a long time to get it out. This is why I'm not allowed to have nice things. Yeah, I think pictures are important. I think pictures are super important. Because I already told you, there's some there. I think pattern test me made me a better bag designer because realistically, I was able to look at drawings or physical pictures, and I was able to do a bag off of looking at pictures and never looking at the instructions. And that could have a lot to do with when you are dyslexic as a kid and someone doesn't easily diagnose you and you want to go where no one understands and don't think you don't understand things, you find little things and reasons to kind of hide and show that you're so smart and that there's nothing wrong with you because you're told all your life that this thing is a bad thing. So I am a person that I can get things really easily by looking at someone else doing it or seeing a picture or a drawing and not necessarily reading it. So testing made me start reading things. And I guess now that when I'm reading things, I can tell somebody or a designer, like, hey, labels will help, or can you please say that we need to sew this down at this, be very descriptive on what seam allowance, because it's coming from a person that if you put a couple pictures by me, I can make it. Because that's how I had to live in order to survive without people thinking, oh, she's a stupid one. So or she's different. And it took a long time for me to come to terms with it. And it's something I have to fight against naturally for myself. And so whenever someone does have just written instructions, I do go for it because it's testing myself and making me go outside my box. But it's hard because sometimes I have to read something like 4 or 5 times and then I'm like, okay, now I got it. But it's hard. That's why, again, the notes are like killer for me because I can explain to you things how I think would help you create the bag successfully. Oh yeah, I just messaged her. I wanted to know if she was gonna have the belladonna. I also want to get her. She has a strap end um, ruler, so you would do that. And she has a couple things. She has hemostats that you could put your engraved. I want some iridescent ones that say Nova so bad. So I have a few things in my cart for Jolie, and I want to see if she comes out the belladonna because it looks like she exclusively does her templates. And because I already have the Aries, I didn't get that one, but I definitely want to purchase something from Jolie. Yeah, actually, I was part of Shambella's test team for a brief time, like a guest tester, and I made a few of her bags. She does a really good job with designs. Sammy's very creative and very inventive, and I feel like she has a real good knack at making a complicated bag simplistic to do. So like she can make it with ease. Her writing structure is like try and true. Okay, so zipper tabs, Leslie, I do it for different. Leslie, why did I just realize that you are Jolie Gracious? Telling you, don't read all the time. Okay, so for zipper tabs, I usually it depends on the pattern, but normally my try and true is 1 inch by 1.4, like 1 and 1/4 of an inch, because I'm usually using like cork, leather, vinyl, something that can have raw edges, and I just enclose it. Now, if I'm not doing raw edges, I like to fold it in by a half, so it'll be 1.5 inches by 2, so I can fold it in and sandwich it in, so that there's no raw edges. But yeah, that ruler is everything. Yeah, that's yeah, most that's what I'm saying, like straps, like so yeah, straps have no pieces, you measuring it out. So I just feel like I get both, and but again, I think that people need to reach out to terrorists, especially designers. Maybe that could be something that's put onto your pattern. Like if you need more pattern pieces for rectangles or squares that I mentioned that I did not provide, this app is a free app and you can just type in and they could print it out. Because I'm pretty sure you could print out a strap pattern on that. You just need to tape it. So I think hey, you guys are really creative out there, these designers. Someone create an app that is just for it. That is not, I think, because that app is originally made for something else. I think it was for school work, but if they make a sewing app for it, like where you can print out pieces, it can help. It's definitely helpful. So like Noodlehead, all written numbers. So if that's say Anne's like, okay, well this app can help you print out pieces, it could change the game because it doesn't have to take away from the designers um their what they created to make something that they maybe don't want to make pattern like square pattern pieces, but then it doesn't take you away from not buying that pattern because it doesn't have those pattern pieces. It's like a happy medium. Yeah, I never buy fabric the exact measurement. I will I will mess up. Even with the template, I will mess up. I will mess up. Did you get it, Dalva? The Olaf QR1 by 12. Yes, I'm really excited about that. I have bought the pattern. I want to make it, but I feel like that's going to be a pattern that a lot of people are going to want. I like what I really like about that pattern is not the top stitching, which is really weird for me because I love top stitching, but the way it looks, it's so clean. And I love that the front pocket. Let's see. I think most people are definitely visual learners because it's like being in school. Like if your teacher gave you an assignment, there's that one kid that knew that science experiment, and when you seen him, then you're like, oh, I can do it too. I think everyone can like definitely it helps to have a visual learner, a visual thing right in front of you versus a written one. It helps out tremendously. Yeah, it's um it's 1 and 1/4 of an inch. So that's 1 inch and that's the 1/4. But the model number is QR1 times 12. So X12. Good morning, Jill. Oh, you should do it. I know. I just seen that email. Shambella, again, I feel like Sammy comes out with really beautiful patterns. Um, she I don't know how you guys designers do it. Like one day you're just like looking at something, you're like, oh, I know what I'm gonna make. It's like I just want to sit and watch one of you guys like bring a pattern to life in your head from like scratch. I don't want to I just think it's super curious like how like people like the belladonna. Every time I say it, I want to do it with an Italian accent. So it's literally killing me not saying it like that. How did that person just sit there and was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna make a bag with all different techniques, and the edge is gonna look so, the top is gonna look so smooth, and you're not gonna have to top stitch it. Like, how did you come up with that? That's pretty amazing. Yeah, this hobby is very expensive. Tools are very helpful, and if you are able to get it, then you're very fortunate, and it does help. Good morning, Gypsy. Yeah, I'm all for tools. I like looking at for new tools that and unconventional tools, but yeah, the hemostats, I use those suckers on a daily basis. Like the other day I was showing someone how to put in a strap, and it was not in an open mouth, it wasn't a wide mouth strap. It's like the old school with the bar going in. And then I take my hemostats, like I brought the strap through for the second time before we put this last swivel hook, and I couldn't get it in. So I take my hemostats, I put it in there, grab the strap and pull it through. And they're like, I never in 100 years would have thought about doing that. I use those hemostats for everything. Like their their fingers. It's like a second pair of hands that I need all the time. And I have them in all different um sizes. And I also use them when I'm turning stuff. And I have to, if I can't find my bone finger, my bold folder finger, then I just use it because it's a blunt to get out the corners. Yeah, hemostats, my favorite thing. I didn't know they had iridescent ones. I've had these same ones for like 7 years. And then when I went on to Jolie's thing, I was like, oh, shut up. I can get some iridescent. I can get something that says Nova. Anytime I could put my name on anything, I will do it. I will definitely do it. Oh, tweezers are really good. Tweezers are good. I always seem to ruin them. I don't know why. They're, but these, the stupid hemostats. I got a like a pack. It was called the vet pack, um, on at Amazon, and it actually came in a tray. So like my when it came in, my kids like first played with their stuffed animals because it you open it up and it had everything. I was like, this is interesting that Amazon sells this. So they were playing with it. It those things are my lifesaver. I use a lot of tools, but I have to say my rulers are my favorite. Um, I'm always looking for the perfect marking tool because, like, again, these tools you're not supposed. You see me using chalk. I do use a lot of chalk, but realistically, at my sewing table, I'm using a neon pen, a gel pen, and a permanent marker. These things are not good for a bag, like for your bags. But this is my favorite pen, and the ink is going away. So, yeah, and scissors. Swear, I am addicted to scissors, like straight up. There's no, I don't know. I don't know why. Yeah, the knee lift is very important. Like so for my free arm, I've sewed a lot of bags recently on it. I'm still not used to that knee arm. It's like in the weirdest position. And then because the machine it kind of sways in, my I can't get my knee right on it. But I'm figuring it out. But I have done so many different bags on it, and I love just unscrewing the tabletop and then just like top stitching like nobody's business. I'm like, this is why I love you. Her name is Tano for Ahsoka Tano. Just so you guys know. Yeah, glue is definitely my thing. Like, still mad that I glued my hair yesterday. This is the I've so the day before my hair went through the needle bar and I sewed my hair into something. I was like, good times. Because I was like, oh my God. Oh, really? Because I was like this close top stitching. Don't have a problem with my vision. I have like beyond 20/20 vision. But if you ever watch me top stitch, like this is my position. Like, and yeah, if my hair is like wild and free, it's going into that needle bar. Yes. Tweezers and scissors are super important. And I never found the perfect snips. Um, I have tried like high end brands, low end brands, and I just have not found my perfect little snips. There are some scissors that are amazing. I think they're going to be my jam, and then they just get dull really fast. I've never found the perfect snip scissors. Yeah, needle down is everything. Oh my God, that changed my relationship with me and Tano. So I had a servo motor on it, but like for some odd reason, I was not able to get it to work right with the needle down position. So me and Steve from Gold Star talked about changing up because he changed up his new engines. And he was like, try this one. I bought it, I installed it, and all you had to do was press a button, not like trying to get it into the perfect lever where it's like you push the needle all the way down and then you click it once to go up so you don't have any skip stitches. I had to do this for the other two machines, so I'm pretty confident when it comes down to installing a synchronizer. So I put this in and it hit. You just have to hit needle down or needle up. Which one? That is my favorite machine to sew with right now. Like I'm on it all the time. And I feel like it takes 135 and 210 thread way better than the 1541S, but that could be just a mental block because I usually use 70 weight or 90 weight only on this machine. Yes. See, I have like just the regular nickel ones, but in Jolie's shop, she has iridescent ones and you can put your name on it. I see, I love tools. And my second thing is I love tools that are pretty. Like we are in our workrooms or our sewing table or wherever we are sewing for so long. I want to look at something pretty. Not asking for a lot. I always get weird things. I don't know why. Oh, okay. So that is my girl Angie. Okay. That's Arc Expressions and they're on Etsy. She does incredible jobs with doing your name. She'll just ask you for a logo and if you don't have a logo, go to Hatchful through Shopify. It's free and you can create a whole entire logo and then you'll be able to keep all the PNGs, the see-through things, the whole 9 yards, and you send it to her. And if you don't want a logo and you just want your name, you could do that. She is really good for they're called bag spacers. She does a fabulous job at it. Oh, let me link her. Yeah, I love Arc Expressions. I go I ask Angie for like the most random things like, "Hey, I would like to purchase something for this and this." And she has a few bags that are exclusively through her for back like for templates. Like I believe car threads. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, my Mercury template is my favorite because I use those backpack straps on any backpack now. They're my staple ones. I honestly believe the designer needs to come out with just the backpack straps because I'm telling you, game changer. Arc Expressions. Let me get that to you. And oh yeah, she's the template maker for Country Cow for Hair in America too. Dude, man, I think I own every Country Cow template. That her Country Cow's bags do so well for me. It could be because I'm really excited when I'm making her bags. I'm like, yes. She just comes out with really cool and new and innovative ways to do stuff. And here we go. There's Arc Expression Shop on Etsy. Okay, so if do you have the TLQ 2200, the QVP minis? I did like the needle up. I did like the knee bar on that one. Oh, really? Oh, that is so cool, Gypsy. I didn't even think of that. Those mats are game. I need to do that. I work on my room is a basement, and then sometimes like Kendall keeps saying that sometimes I'll put yoga mats on when I'm cutting. I know I'm going to be on the cutting table for hours, but yeah, the concrete's not the best to just stand on for hours. Thank you so much. Oh, I really appreciate that. So, yeah, I am going to stuff my face, finish this test, and I need to make a thumbnail for the zippy bag. If you're in Patreon, the zippy bag is already available for you so to watch before Friday. Oh, oh, that's so cool. I like that. I feel like the mats are really important to have underneath. There was like I went to it was somewhere in Missouri one time, and when the sewing thing for the foot, they had like a pad for beside the other foot. So like you're sewing, you're hitting with your right foot up and with your sewing machine, but the left foot had a pad, and they had a pad all around it, and I didn't understand why. And she said that it's because you're putting like you put a lot of pressure on your left leg without you even noticing it when you're sewing. So they created this like pad that went underneath the sewing machine so that your foot was constantly like getting some kind of pressure or something that relieves pressure. Just little things. Chairs are really important. Having enough, like back support and all that stuff like that. It's really important because we get injuries all the time. I mean, how many carpal tunnel posts have you seen? And shoulder pain or neck pain, it could be all from sitting incorrectly, hunching over. We have injuries, so many injuries in our art. Yeah, I literally cried for that one yesterday. She definitely has set so many. She was a superhero. She is a superhero. Yep. See, and there's a lot, and when you actually do a lot of conventions or like craft shows, a lot of people have these pads to for just a 1 day or 2 day event because it's important not to be in pain the next day after you do things like that. All right, y'all. I'm gonna hop off, and I hope everyone has a good day and it has a chance to sew. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay. Bye.